I'd like to call the final meeting of the 2022-2023 Human Affairs Committee meeting to order. And I'm gaveling just because I have it. All right. So I'd like to do roll call. Stuart?
Present.
Michelle?
Present.
Rosemary?
Present.
Aaron Washington?
Present.
Jill Schechter is absent. Angeline Johnson has moved out of town, so she's no longer on our committee. And I'd like to welcome our special guests, and we'll have ample opportunity to hear from you. So thank you for attending, and thank you, new committee member, for joining us. And we are looking forward to a robust coming year. So Tyler, we're happy to have you. Pledge of Allegiance, who'd like to lead the pledge? Michelle?
Please rise. Place right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business is to approve the meeting
From a long
minutes.
time
Thank
ago.
you.
Yeah, I was like,
Meeting minutes from February 8th
oh, wow.
of 2023. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve this.
Thank you. I need
I
a second. Excellent.
So is that Rosemary that
Yeah.
seconded?
Meetings are approved. For special presentations, we have none. For those of us moving forward on the committee, we have some exciting things upcoming. So that's going to be fun. I wanted to wait for a couple of the presenters to come until our new committee was impaneled, because their presentations may impact what we choose to do and what we choose to discuss in terms of incorporating into our work plan for the coming year. So no special public presentations. For unfinished business and updates, let's go through what we accomplished and sort of where we are and provide each other updates on that. And is somebody taking notes on this, or should I take notes?
Well, it's being recorded.
Excellent. So for project number 1, the Town Hall and Community Resource Fair was held with robust support by Stuart Anderson and Aaron Washington. A disappointment was that we didn't have more community attendees. So moving forward on our work plan, we'll discuss that with the newly seated committee and discuss ways in which we can improve attendance, really raise community awareness and reach the audience that we'd like to reach so that we have very robust attendance. I mean, as far as service providers, we had over 30, which is truly remarkable, that spanned the spectrum from special needs children and adults to military families, to those experiencing homelessness, to mentorship and bullying. Really a wide range and assortment of resource providers, which is exciting and it's encouraging. Unfortunately, we didn't have as robust of attendance as we all would have liked. Project number 2, the resource registry. We have all of the information. The city website is being updated. So to drop all that information in, it wasn't time. So as soon as that's complete and we have the ability to drop all that in and have that programmed in, we can I suggest adding that to our work plan moving forward. But we can talk about that in our next group.
And that'll probably go hand in hand with increasing the public's awareness of this amazing community resource fair that you held, right? Like if the website was updated, people would go to it, it would increase traffic, and then they could advertise it for you.
Hopefully.
I know I won't be here, but next time you do it,
Yep.
since it says no update, but my update would be, we get a banner made, have a budget, I don't know if it's $500 or whatever, for the refreshments that we paid for out of our pocket, right? And I know you say get your receipts, but I didn't do it. Anyways. And having a banner like they did for other things that flies on El Camino Real, that's always high traffic.
Yeah.
And I always see it. I see it. They put it
Right.
like 2 weeks before it happens,
Yes.
and the word gets out.
That's a
And
great idea.
Del Mar,
Yeah.
both.
And then we can keep it so that the next year you just change the one number or the days
Exactly.
and keep
Yeah.
I
using it.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all I wanted to
I
add.
love it.
That's a very good
Everybody reads
idea.
that banner.
Right.
And an ad in San Clemente Times. And
Did
a,
we have one in there this year?
no, we didn't have a budget.
They mentioned it on the This Week in San Clemente.
They did, thanks to Stuart, but there
But
wasn't.
San Clemente Times wouldn't do that for free?
That's what I was gonna ask.
I-
It's the
why
San
would they-
Clemente
yeah.
They would
Times.
not.
They would not. Did
Are you
you
serious?
approach them?
I did. I asked them.
Wow.
And they said no.
What
They
was-
said they would mention it in the This Week in San Clemente, but they would not give us an ad. They said, this is the cost for the ad. This is the charge for.
Wow.
What did they quote you for that? Just
They're
curious.
expensive.
Do you
Oh, it's
remember?
so expensive.
That was
I know, because I've
Yeah.
participated in some, right. So we're, no surprise, at the next city council meeting after our new committee is sworn in, we're gonna be asking for your money. Because we've learned that sometimes we need money and people don't always do things for free. Additionally, a professionally done poster advertising the event that all the shopkeepers and all the business owners can display.
Yes.
And it's not just a flyer that you very nicely made up for us, but something that's more attention grabbing and, you know, more professionally done. So, but
There's a question on that. Is there a miscellaneous fund that could be your discretion to say like a $500 banner without needing approval from council or something?
I think if you write it in the work plan, on the work plan, it has
They'll approve it.
estimated cost per project.
So I was gonna
I
get
remember
zero.
So
that.
if you put that in the cost in the work plan and then council approves the work plan.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So maybe find out about how much a banner costs
Right,
prior,
that's what I
we could
was-
write it in.
so the last time we wrote it in, they told us you don't have any budget.
Yeah.
So now that I
Yeah.
understand how things
Now we
go,
know.
I'm gonna fight for a little budget.
Just a
because-
little budget,
Just
yeah.
a little. I'm not asking, you know, we don't want $20,000, but
Yeah.
I think we could probably, I've been told by prior city managers that there's a slush fund that exists. So we're gonna get some of the slush.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The overall homelessness strategy, Angeline isn't here, but Michelle and Stuart, do you care to share anything about that?
I think this one we've been updating throughout. The last time in February was when we had met with 2 neighboring cities just to kind of see best practices and their strategies. And I shared a lot of those insights back in February. So other than that, nothing has come since except for the Project Home Key emphasis, which City Council wanted to hand over to us, and I guess that would be where we take it from here, but that'll be the next crew probably.
You mean Homeward Bound?
I'm sorry, what did I call it?
Home Key, different
Oh,
program.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Homeward Bound, yes. I was
I'd
combining
like to
them.
update the committee too, that I finally did hear back from the Jewish Family Services in San Diego that administers a safe parking program for several cities in San Diego County. And they are willing to make a presentation to this committee. They'll do it via Zoom. They won't come up here in person. I've been informed that yes, we can accommodate a Zoom. So that is something that we can do once the new committee members are sworn in.
And we'll also ask, my goal this year, because they've never done this before since I've been on Human Affairs, and since many of us have been on Human Affairs, is to front load our work plan with ideas that come from direction from City Council.
Right.
Because we've
Right.
had ideas in the past and we present it to council and they go, no, that's not within your scope.
Right.
Well then, at the beginning, well, you know what I'm saying, right?
It's a catch-22, isn't it? Because
Well, I mean, they
Indeed.
haven't been chewing on the parking idea neither,
Right,
because it's been
and
rough.
yeah,
They
and the
haven't been
homeless,
buying
I
off
think
on
they
it.
want us to stay away from that. That's more their issue, is what I'm gathering from them.
Well, because there are so
Yeah.
many legalities involved and
Yeah.
so forth, and city attorney needs to be involved, city manager needs to be involved.
It's just not, it's
Thank
not
you for
getting
nodding,
traction.
Tyler. Yeah. But I want to hear it from city council, so I'm going to approach council and at our first official meeting where we start to hash out and sketch out what we're going to do for our work plan, I'm going to go for some concrete direction from city council, because since we've started, since Human Affairs restarted after COVID, what we've come up with are things that we find important, where we're trying to help. So if they have a vision and they love an idea, it would be great for them to tell us.
Right.
And then the other real benefit is we're going to have someone who with Tyler Bowden, who has been on Human Affairs for many years, who has that breadth of experience, and I think he's going to bring some perspective of some things that perhaps we didn't consider. And Dick Veal said during his interview process, what are we doing for the elderly, for, advanced age people? And I was like, we're not doing anything, so let's see if we can do something. Because, I mean, personally, Rosemary and I have been involved with the Senior Center, and we've done some things there, and we've done some volunteering there, and I did a bunch of stuff at Christmas time, and we do their activities and help support that. But I think as a committee, we could probably do more. So it's nice to hear and see other people's perspectives and value that, and I'm going to look forward to doing that. So the mentorship program, update on that?
Well, Jill was kind of in charge, and
That went nowhere.
yeah, it went nowhere. This is the one thing that the council has all said they want this done.
Right.
So we need to get. I mean, I've gotten people that are interested. Michelle's gotten people. I gave Jill the name of the person at San Clemente High that I was told to get in touch with, and I don't think anything went anywhere.
So to help move it forward with our next committee for the coming year,
Yeah.
if you could email me that,
Yeah.
and I'll put it on the agenda so we can discuss that and we can grab it and actually do something with
Right.
it. And I think we have someone who's really interested in helping
We
with
can do
that
that. Yeah. We'll
and advancing it.
handle that. But yeah.
Yeah, because I think, one thing I really appreciate is with the group that we have, we've made some good things happen. And with our group that's coming in, there are some skill sets that maybe we don't have, or some exposure that they can, and some wisdom that they can bring to us, and we can,
Right.
move forward on some projects that we're very passionate about, but perhaps didn't move forward in the way we had envisioned. So
Right.
I think we could definitely do that. And every 15 minutes, my understanding, Rosemary, is
Yeah.
that although you supplied everything,
I did everything for him, but forged the signature
You should have just
to
done
go to the
that.
highway
Yeah.
patrol to get the grant, and when he went to turn it in, the money was gone. So we have to wait till, I think, October. But Mark Enmeyer, I talked to him about it, and he said, oh, that thing is so powerful. He goes, give me the information, and I'll make him sign it.
Perfect, 'cause he's-
so just to summarize what Rosemary's talking about is her contact at the high school had to just sign the form to
I
request
got all
the
the
grant
paperwork,
money.
everything filled out.
Rosemary did
everything.
it all,
Frustrating.
every
Rosemary
single
did it
bit,
all. She
and
just
she
kinda
kept
signed
calling
it.
him, kept trying to get an appointment, kept emailing him, got nothing, and then when he finally moved forward,
He
the money
calls
had
me
been
and he goes,
taken.
the money's gone. And I'm like,
Well, yeah, right.
and the thing is, it has to be done around a dance is when, and that's
Or
Mark,
homecoming, right?
Mark and I were talking about. It's the most effective rate, like the week before a dance, because when they're at the, that's when they're drinking and stuff.
Yes.
So in the spring, it's either got to be homecoming or winter formal, because in the spring, that prom is right when testing is. So AP testing and stuff. Now I don't know. Is the high school doing the AP classes anymore?
Yes.
They are.
Mhm.
That is now.
Well, I know some teachers ones there, so I.
Yeah, my
assume
niece-
Still doing
I
it.
mean,
Well,
I don't know
I thought
next year.
California was pulling that though.
Pulley what?
All the
No.
AP classes.
Oh, jeez, I hope not. Are you serious?
I just went to an award ceremony.
Yeah.
I went to
No,
the.
starting
It
next
started
year, I
next
think.
year.
Next year,
Maybe they're thinking.
I went to the city of Orange, and they were giving awards out for that.
yeah. So basically, the spring one we couldn't do it because it was AP testing right then. So we'll see. But I read a thing where,
Maybe it's affected this coming year. I don't know.
yeah,
You gotta look into that.
Gosh, we could be.
yeah,
That's major. I know for sixth grade now, but I didn't know beyond that.
yeah. They want everything to be equal.
Okay.
Anyway,
So you're on top of
yeah.
it, and I know with every bit of my being that the first day
Yeah.
that opens up to secure
Yeah.
that funding, you're going to be on it, so that we can
Mark will tackle them at school for me. He said.
So we can move this program forward.
Smart.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think will be really helpful is having Mark to help with the mentorship program.
Right. exactly.
Because now that we have a
Yes,
conduit, I
yeah.
mean, that can be
Yeah.
quite helpful.
Yep,
So
you
that's
can
pretty
pump it
exciting.
out on campus.
Safe Rides program.
Safe
I-
Rides is null and void anymore.
Right.
My last update, they have disbanded the program. The lady was really sad, and we had a nice long talk about it. She's
That was at our
grieving it
last
after
meeting.
20 years.
Yeah.
What?
I said our last meeting, you briefed us.
Yeah,
about it.
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Rosemary, do you have an update on the
Yeah, and
humanitarian
then-
award?
Yeah. We've decided to wait till August when the school opens back up. We only got like 4 or 6 people, and we just felt like it wasn't presented enough at school, and it wasn't really encompassing really the whole school. So we're gonna kind of go again in right when school starts and present it. We can present it right when once we get more applications and kind of a broader from the
And Mark can help with that too,
Yeah.
right? Like spread the word on.
Yeah.
It's kind of great having an in at the
Yeah.
high school for this kind of stuff.
So apparently Mark is going to be extremely busy with our
Yeah.
projects.
Little did Mark know, he's
Has
our,
anybody told him?
he's our
And
liaison.
does he like cupcakes or chocolate chip cookies? I'd like to pass this around from the Community Resource Fair. Those are some great photos. Are we able to have those emailed to us so we can keep them for those that maybe want to post them or take a look?
Yeah, where did they originate from? You took them? Oh, yeah.
There's some great
Send it
pictures.
out.
There's some of you in those that are just great. You don't take a bad picture. You really don't.
I thought I did right after.
Very cool. So that would be great if we
It's
could
true,
get
you are
those.
so, like-
He's so photogenic. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so that's the humanitarian award. And then I'll discuss under communication some things that I'd like you to chew on for those that are moving forward on the committee to chew on before we meet next, because I have some ideas. Alrighty, so under new business, City Council has given us direction to research the benefits of working with Project Homeward Bound. And we can take that on now and do some initial research. And then when we formalize our work plan, we can put together the formal work group because, there may be somebody that really has a passion for that. But just, what do you all think about us doing some initial work on it now, contacting FAM, finding out the details of the program, the funds? I've also been told by prior city manager Sund that there are some funds available from the city for Homeward Bound. And does everybody know what Homeward Bound is? Okay. Do you know what it is, Stuart?
Yeah, that's really fun trying to get them back to where they
Yeah.
came from. Bus tickets.
I know a thumbnail sketch of what it is.
So here's what I understand, and maybe if you know more information, please feel free to jump in. FAM has a pool of money, as does apparently the city, and that's why we have to find out if there are funds that are unused that could be used for this this effort. But when someone is living on the street and they have a connection, whether it's family, whether it's friends, and they want to go home, we can provide, or the program provides, transportation to go home and reunite with their support system. So for those that say, I have family in Arizona, I want to go home, or I have family in Arizona, but they don't want anything to do with me, well, then a call is placed, and all of a sudden, Mom's saying, we've been trying to reach them for 2 years. Yes, we want them home. Because Carly even recounted that happens sometimes.
Right.
So I think sometimes people don't know that they would be embraced by their support system. And if there's a neutral party that cares, that reaches out and says, hey, we have help for your loved one, some nice things can happen. Dick Veal recounted in his interview that was it 3 years that FAM has sent 87 people home. And I would love to find out more about it and the funds that are available to see if we can get even more people home.
So not just so I went to the council meeting when they tasked us with this. There were so many questions, and one of the statistics that's not captured is how many people have they bought a ticket for and they came back.
Right.
So when you do your research and you're talking to FAM, you need to be finding out that information too. How many tickets have we bought, and do you have any information on who's a repeat coming back? Because that's where they're trying to see where's the value at in this. So
And I
that's an
know-
important part to capture.
Dick also
Thank you for
said,
that.
Yeah.
Dick also said that the majority of the people, he gave the number, was when we closed the Pico lot. That's the majority that got sent home. So it makes me think we're not pursuing this enough. Because he gave a big, I mean, it was almost the majority of
Oh, yeah.
the ones they've sent home were in that lot. Well,
Yeah.
we're shutting the lot down, and we know everyone came in from everywhere to live at the beach, so they sent them all back home. So I think we need to look at that too, because how would it be? We can't be doing it. It would have to be Carly, right?
Well, that's why we need to find out
Yeah.
what resources
In partnership with
are
them.
available
Mhm.
precisely. And the other thing is, one of the reasons why probably, and I'm just guessing, and I'm an amateur at this obviously, but if they're clearing out the Pico lot and they had all the resource providers there to say, hey, do you need medical care? Do you need food? Do you need, they were all there assembled to offer things to the people that were staying there. That's a hub, right? Where people could find out rather than, Carly and Troy trying to approach people one at a time. They're so busy all day, every day. That's probably difficult for them to approach everyone that might potentially be interested. So if there was something that we could do, and I don't know, this bears investigation,
Yeah.
where we could really communicate out the program effectively.
Right.
And then also, to your point, Erin, have the details and the data to find out, this isn't, I feel like going to Hawaii. I want to give me a plane ticket to Hawaii, but I'm going to come back when when
Let's
it's
just throw
monsoon
money into
season.
the wind if you're
Right.
Yeah.
coming
Exactly.
back.
They're coming
Yeah.
back. And do they keep track of that?
We need to find
Well,
out.
that's the magic question that they need an answer to. So if we present that, hey, this is a great idea, and we also capture answering that question they had. Oh, by the way, they do have statistics on blah 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 blah
And
They
maybe,
have-
by name.
go ahead, Michelle.
They have the statistics because the Homeward Bound program, in essence, family reunification is one of the reasons. I mean, I think that's the greatest thing that FAM offers to the one of the greatest things that FAM offers to the community. Truly, if they boil down to saying our goal, besides feeding women and children or families in need, but for the homeless, this is what we offer. I think it would get so much more community buy-in because if they could show either a success rate or a rate of retention in people not returning to the streets once their families have been contacted, and maybe that person is resistant, but once they figure out how to track down their family and they say, we will support this person in getting them home safely, that's something that I've always loved that FAM does, and I do think it's great that we want to promote that more in some ways and figure out how to encourage them to do more of that. I don't know what their budget is, but I know they have the numbers on how many people they send via Homeward Bound and such.
I would just say when we're communicating it to them that nothing's perfect. Yeah, you may have some come back,
Yes.
but say there's 10 we sent away and only 3 came back. That's a victory.
Right.
70%.
Exactly.
If you're
Totally.
sending like 10,
Totally.
5 come back,
Right.
and you keep doing it like
Totally.
that, that's still a win.
Exactly.
But
I
it has to
agree.
be communicated that way because you'll get some on the council be like, oh, what? Yeah, 5 come back? Oh, it's not working. That's
Right.
not true.
And the interesting thing would
I
be,
agree.
why are the ones coming back? What's the reason for coming back here when they're not from here, right?
Look at this weather. What do you?
Yeah,
duh.
look at the weather.
You mean Seattle?
Oh, what beach we got left? We gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're
Portland,
now Seattle with no beach.
Portland Clemente. Yeah. So a question I'd like to pose to the committee is, I am very passionate about this, and I brought it up to Councilmember Enmeyer and Councilmember Cabral in the roundtable that I was invited to be a part of, which was their homeless subcommittee. And I don't know if that's going to be moving forward or not, but they obviously saw value in it because Councilmember Enmeyer brought it to City Council, they voted on it, and then they gave it to us. So would somebody like to join me and meet with FAM in
I'll do it.
advance?
I'll
You
do
want to
it.
meet?
Yeah.
Okay, and Stuart? Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we, I'll send you a note and we'll coordinate.
Yeah.
And why don't we meet, and then in advance of our next meeting, we'll have the who, what, when, or
Right,
why
exactly.
to present to our assembled group,
Mhm.
and then see what we can do with it. Yeah. Well, not August. I have an idea there.
All
But
right.
wait,
That's your next meeting.
there's more. No, no, not necessarily, boss. Stuart, Rosemary. Okay, I think that's great because then at the next city council meeting, I can give an update. When I ask for the money for human affairs at the city council meeting, so my plan moving forward, well, whoever is chair, I'm going to suggest this. I'm I would love to be chair again because there is unfinished business. And I really want to steer working on some of those things to fruition. But my plan, if I'm the chair again, is once a month at City Council to give a Human Affairs update on our work plan and do things like ask for money when we need it. Because things come up and we'll go, oh, we need $1,500. Okay,
Hey, city manager.
right. So if we, and then also to say, great news, we have funding for every 15 minutes. Or great news, we have 9 business owners in San Clemente that are interested in the mentorship program for the coming school year. I think there are some things that will really resonate with the community because people will say, well, what do you guys do? And how do we quantify that? So let's go and update people. Let's shine some light on it, be transparent, and then they'll know what we do. Like public safety, I'm taking my lead from public safety. They go and show up and say, hey, there's a problem.
Totally.
Here's what public safety recommends.
And do it.
And then
They
let's
do.
see if they do it. But that's how, the bars were put in on all of the benches, right? In the T-zone. And, many of them are commemorative benches. And that's how that happened, was via public safety. So I'm proud of Human Affairs, and I want Human Affairs to have a little bit of teeth.
Yeah.
So, right? And we're nice, but we can have teeth. Alrighty. And then there's a letter to the Noble Path Foundation that we're sending, which is thanking them for the participation in the resource fair. Are we able, I had sent an email, are we able to send those out to everyone that participated?
If your committee agrees to it.
I have sent all the participants emails thanking them already.
So did I.
Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Yeah, you're just saying something official from the city letterhead, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because then, sometimes they frame them and they put them up on the wall. And like with the Noble Path, they'll show the kids, this is what happened, guys, because we were there. And
Beyond Human Affairs.
Oh, cool. We have letterhead?
awesome letterhead.
As you said, it was the turnout from the community was pretty lackluster for that
Yeah.
last.
Too bad, all the work you
Why do you
community
think?
affairs.
Why do you think?
Well, part of it was that I don't think we had enough advertisement
Okay.
to make the community aware of it. And so, one thing about that Noble Path letter is that I'm not sure I want to support another resource fair next year. I think we should at least wait 1 year because one this year was not that well attended. If we have one next year, it may not even be as well attended as one we just had. So I would say we wait a year.
But the feedback I got from the vendors that were there, they enjoyed it because they were networking with the other vendors.
Yeah, that's what
So
I.
regardless of what you had on the outcome, they were very happy
Right.
to be networking and exchanging cards. So that's the feedback I got.
So
I
that's
don't know.
good. They
Yeah.
weren't
That's good.
disappointed
Yeah.
on the turnout.
And
That's
some of
good.
the service providers that I talked to Aaron's point, wanted a contact at the school. And they said, we really want to bring this into the school. We can't get through to anybody. I said, well, we have a city council member I can introduce you to. So I did that for 3 different people that
There,
had.
they came up to you to
Yes.
say that.
No, I went up to them, but there was an anti-bullying group. There were 2 other groups. And I said, I think we can build a bridge here and get you through to someone that might be able to help.
I love it.
So my question to you, because let's discuss that because we do have an item on the agenda of the tentative date for the 2024 Resource Fair. So my question to you, Stuart, is if we use Aaron's suggestion and we do the banner over El Camino Real,
It can be better.
pardon?
I just said I think you'd get more.
And we did an ad in San Clemente Times, and we did a professionally prepared poster that could be in all the shops. Would you feel that it would be worth a try if we redo the event?
I would still suggest that we do it every other year at the maximum.
Okay.
So I would just say, no, I would not support it for next year. I would say we should wait till 2025.
Maybe
Well-
it's something that the new committee
Yeah, the
votes
new
on at
committee.
their first meeting because they'll be the ones doing the work.
Because
So maybe
I think
guys
you should
vote.
keep spinning that plate. And the also feedback, because I sat at the desk a lot, and I asked people when they were coming through, how'd you find out about us?
Right.
And the majority, you gotta know where you're putting your posters. All right, Starbucks was the number one. The Starbucks places where we put those, they were the number one.
And that's where the 5.
Putting them where all the thumb up high-end people live at Ralph's, people weren't getting it.
Right.
You know, your Walmart or those places, those little places, a little thrift shop, those places is where they were seeing that and they were coming.
Yeah.
So when you go out and you hang
Makes
posters
sense.
next
La
time,
Tienda, the
make
smoke
sure
shop.
you put it in the places where people that, you know, would need those services or you think would need it
How many
frequent.
did we have come through? I know
What's that?
how many people came through? I know I personally helped 5
I
homeless
thought
women
they just
for
said
shelter.
40 to 50. I don't know what the
That's the
count
service
was.
providers.
5
Oh.
homeless
Yeah.
who were looking for
For
shelter,
shelter.
It
at
was,
the community resource
Yeah.
facility.
so what was it,
they
like
were looking
60? It wasn't that many.
Wow.
It was
What-
like
who
60,
did you put
70
them in
people.
touch
I walked them over there.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So and
Wait,
then
so that's fascinating.
so then we had one man that was looking for mental health for his nephew. But I don't were there other we had the 6? Do we have any more? Do you guys remember?
Not that we're seeking out services that I know of,
Okay.
but I just know those because I was walking with you
Walking
because
with
I wanted to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So what?
That's it.
So okay, we'll bring it. We're not going to select a date yet. Can we please put that on the agenda for the next meeting?
Yeah, you're new.
And we'll do that
And
with the
maybe
new
you
group.
could get like a poll from the vendors, because maybe we leave it up to them. If they were bummed on all the effort they put in for the turnout, then they wouldn't want to do it again. But if they say, no, let's give it a go, maybe it takes 2 years to get off the ground and running, and then we pull back and do it every year kind of thing.
Well, it had been 3 years since we had it.
Right.
I hesitate to try to ask all the vendors because who's going to tally all that, and it becomes really
But
cumbersome.
I'm saying they won't come if they
It's
don't
a lot
want
of
to.
phone calls, right?
Right? Like
Yeah,
if you invite
but
them,
if we say when we invite them, if we say
yeah, you're interested.
not like last year, we're going to do a whole advertising program this year.
Exactly.
It's going to be on the city website. It's going to be on the council members' Facebook pages. It's going to be on, you know, all the big San Clemente groups. There's going to be professionally done posters. There's going to be banners on El Camino Real and Del Mar. If we share with them how it's going to be promoted, it might be more encouraging.
Did you ever get in touch with Lake Forest?
They never call me
They
back.
never called back.
Never called me back.
Because I know they do it like every 6 months. They do one
Wow.
twice a year. Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I always see it every.
Well, that's
And you know
great.
what? That's a good reminder because Rick Leffler has a contact there and knew who put it on.
Okay. Yeah.
And I said, put me in touch with that person. And I asked several times, but I'll be more.
Yeah, because they put one on. I see it advertised all the time, so they
That's
must
cool.
get enough to do it
Yeah.
that often.
Where do you see it advertised?
I see it in. Where do I see it? I see it.
I'm only asking because
yeah.
obviously it's effective.
I see
Right,
it. I see it on
exactly.
Facebook, and I'm trying to think of what group. I'll when I see it again. I see it on Facebook a lot. And
You'll
when
screenshot it?
yeah, I'll screenshot it to see who's promoting it. But
Did you see the Facebook entry that I put on Facebook?
No.
No.
There's San Clemente has a Facebook page,
okay,
and I approached them, and I got that event on that San Clemente
It
thing.
never showed up in my
Which
feed.
I think I saw it. I think.
Was it San Clemente
You know,
Live?
it comes
I
up
know
to
it has like
an event.
40,000.
okay, so that must be
members.
San Clemente
San
Live.
Clemente Live.
Okay, with Amanda Hicks.
I uploaded to San Clemente. I did like 5 or 6
Okay.
different
Okay.
San Clemente, the popular
Mm.
San
Okay.
Clemente
Yeah.
ones.
So that's a great way to reach people.
You need to do next door too, I guess, right?
Yeah, and next door.
Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Maybe the high
amazing
school would put
everything
it
that's
on their
on
marquee.
next door now.
Right.
Maybe the high
Yeah.
school would put it on their marquee on Pico,
Good idea.
you know, for like a little donation or not.
I thought someone said that high school was advertising on that.
I don't know.
Maybe it was a different topic.
I never saw them.
Okay, so we'll talk about it. We'll
Yeah.
resurface the
Yeah,
idea
I like
again and we'll talk it through and see what everybody comes up with. Alrighty. So under oral and written communication, do we have anybody from the community that would speak to us?
I have a comment.
Yes, please.
Just in terms of the kind of like the promotion of the meetings or just the posting of the meetings. One of the things that was like a really good, like a positive thing that came out of COVID was our meetings were on Zoom. And so it made it really easy to go on and like watch it afterwards.
Right.
And you could hear everyone, you could see everyone talking. And I think before COVID we didn't have anything. It was just you could show up to the meeting or you just read the minutes.
Right.
Which,
Yeah.
you know, in preparing to apply for the committee, that's kind of what I did, because I tried to get in and watch the meetings, but it was really hard to hear.
They're kinda
really
kludgy.
Hear what was going on.
Yeah.
So just the comment is, if there were any way to utilize technology to make it more accessible to watch the meetings, I know the space may not be conducive to it, but just, that's my comment.
I love that. Is that possible? Do you guys know?
So they are recorded on the YouTube channel. It's just not the video. Were you able to
Yes.
find the recordings?
I did.
They're hard to
Just
hear.
Really
But
hard.
not live
Very hard to
streamed? Is there a way to live stream? Like they do the council?
I would have to get with IT on that. But you could have the meetings in the chambers. Because I know the others.
Like public safety does.
And it's better, easier here and there, probably if we record it, right?
Perhaps, I don't know.
Well, maybe it's easier for them to set up a Zoom too.
Yeah.
Because it's already kind of hardwired there.
And let us in. Or that upstairs.
Will you look into it for us and let me know?
I will do that.
Thank you.
Sorry to
We
get
can
you
do
extra work.
Zoom down here.
What?
We can do Zoom down here. So, I mean, there's that option.
Okay.
Oh, so we can do Zoom.
But I think the question, Marcel, is do we have them recorded, right, and put on the YouTube
Do you
channel?
want
like
live?
Kinda like you do planning
Or
commission, is what it's
recorded?
saying.
You want live?
Like the
so
city
public
council
can-
meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
planning
For
commission
me,
is
it
just
was
like
more
that.
looking
Yeah.
back at the meetings
Oh.
at the time. I'd say if it's live, why not?
There's
But,
Yeah.
some DPNR in this one.
That's
it
a
used
good
to be,
point.
we used to live broadcast when we were on Zoom. It was just,
Yeah,
we would get on and then it would live broadcast onto YouTube.
I like that.
So,
And then the transition to just recording it and just putting the recording up there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Ladies, would you like to address the committee at all?
No, I had a question about what the DUI prevention was, because I had seen it somewhere, but now you explained it in here. I mean,
Well, you want me to explain it in more detail? I'm happy to explain it in more detail. It's a DUI simulation done in conjunction with the California Highway Patrol and the high school. And they make it very real life. They select students that are killed in this imaginary DUI accident. They take the student, the Grim Reaper comes to the high school, takes the students away,
oh gosh,
puts them in a hotel.
I thought it was just a video.
Oh,
No, it's a real,
It's like a Hollywood project.
it's a real-time experience.
Every 15 minutes, someone dies from a DUI accident. So every 15 minutes throughout the school day that they designate, the Grim Reaper comes, and then that's how it was when I did it. And then they point, and then that person has already been prearranged to then die. The parents have to sign off. The police go to the parents' house. They actually tell them their child has died. They've already agreed beforehand, but they go through, pretty realistic emotions. They write an obituary that's read the next day at the assembly, and the kids all go stay at the hotel for the night. They're not allowed contact with anybody, and then they set up the car accident in front of the school. They use the jaws of life. One of the students is chosen to be the drunk driver. I mean, it is.
And
it
they
is
talk
so
about
powerful.
alcohol and drugs, because
Texting.
kids use drugs too, and distracted driving with texting, because it only takes a minute.
So when they show this, is it required or optional for people to be observing? I mean,
It's juniors and seniors, so it's just the juniors and seniors.
Drivers.
And, I don't know if they want to opt out, I'm not sure how that works.
They set it up in front of the school, so you would see it no matter what, but I think you just keep your kid home.
so when we were young and taking driver's ed, because they taught us how to drive, we had a semester of that. They showed us a movie.
Red Asphalt.
I remember that movie, you guys? But they
Oh, I
showed
remember
us
movies.
Glory
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, you see brain matter.
And you know what? I drove so carefully
Totally.
forever. It really does have an effect on.
Oh, it does,
But,
it does.
but now they don't teach driver's ed, so whether the kids would ever have to go see it, and if they didn't want to see it, they wouldn't, which is too bad, because if they have that, they need to make sure.
I don't think any kid would miss. I mean, it is a very popular program.
Oh, yeah.
It is
Parents would
so
want it.
effective.
Well,
yeah.
a lot of the
I'm
parents
curious when
go
they
too.
stopped doing what we grew up on.
Well, because it cost too much money, and
Yeah.
they didn't have to. I mean, it was
It was an elective when I was in school.
No, it wasn't an elective when I was.
It was mandatory when I was in school.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a difference in whatever school you were in.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you have that, or you're working on it, or
Yeah.
hopefully you get it.
It's very good, and it's, so many parents, think it's okay to provide alcohol for their kids, and the
I
parents
know.
see that.
Yes,
And then it's
they
like,
do.
I mean, because their child doesn't come home that night. And
Well, the
they're
other
taking
thing
away
is,
the body
if the
bag.
parents are the ones buying the beer for the kids and someone gets hurt, it's that parent's
Their
responsibility
Yeah.
and they lose their home. And I don't know if parents really understand and say, oh, it's no big deal, they're gonna drink anyway. I'd rather have them do it here where I can watch them. Well, what do they do when they leave your house? So it's has positive impact on the community in a number of different ways. And then they tape it all for successive years. If they don't continue to do the program every year, the students can watch it all. But they even have students that are friends of those that are deceased stand up and give sort of impact statements or what it's going to mean that they're never going to see their best friend again and so forth.
You can Google it.
Oh,
Every
that's
15 minutes, you'll see like San Juan Hills does it every 2 years, Santa Margarita Catholic High does it. They all.
So we
do
really,
every
it
2 years.
was
It's really.
a
We've been done
brainstorm.
it since 15. So it's been a long time since San Clemente High, and they really wanted, Highway Patrol really wanted San Clemente High to do
I
it.
think so, because there's a lot of really.
It's a big production, I mean, because it's training for OCSD, it's a training for the fire department, it's, resources that go into it also.
Maybe they should involve, maybe you could suggest they could involve an e-bike somehow into the crash scene, just to, so for the power of seeing.
That's a great idea.
But just to show the kid what happens if an e-bike meets a car
Yeah, that's it.
in that,
Really
in that
good.
instance.
What happens when a parent with a kid on the back meets the car?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
scares me.
Yeah.
Well, the things I see, my neighbor riding with his newborn on the handlebars of his e-bike.
Yeah.
The baby's head's an eggshell. I can't. In any case, thank you for that. That's a great idea. Okay. Ma'am, would you like to address us? Do you have any questions?
I came because of something that happened at the council meeting.
Please share. What's your name, may I
My
ask?
name is Sandy Exelby. I was on Human Affairs years ago, so is Joan. And
Thank you for coming.
And what's your name, I'm sorry?
Joan
Thompson, yes.
yeah, so it was not an easy night because of what had happened with the kids down at the pier. So the meeting, I think that actually caused a lot of noise in the council chambers that you wouldn't have heard otherwise. But Mark Enmeyer mentioned, just kind of in passing, he said, the teens don't really have anything to do. We don't have things for our teens. And there was audible snickering, which I was listening from home, and it was upsetting to me because I know all those kids down there weren't representative of all of our kids in town, and I worked on a task force for youth in San Clemente for a long time, and we actually did a few things that made a difference. One of the things we did would be very easy. Anyway, I think this issue is a human affairs issue. So that's why I came. And I've thought for a long time that the Boys and Girls Club property being city-owned, the building and all of the area, that when the kids are picked up Monday through Friday, that building, as far as I know, sits empty on weekends and at night too. So I thought, kids could have a huge ownership actually helping other maybe philanthropic groups that might be interested in having a coffee house, maybe Friday and Saturday night, or maybe in the summer, even more evenings for kids who want to drop in and have a few things, have things available, have music. And I don't know if that's possible, but I went online and looked for teen centers just because it kept bothering me. And a lot of places have teen centers.
Yeah, man, I haven't heard that in a while.
I love it.
Yeah, and I remember when we were in Alaska, we were in Sitka, and we were trying to find a place to get a hamburger of all. And someone says, well, go to the bowling alley. And so we walked to the bowling alley. The bowling alley was like run by kids. And it was like the bowling alley that we used to have, like 4 lanes. And I thought, we could possibly do something for our teens. I just want to share that with you.
I think
I
that's
love
it.
that.
Thank you. And one thing I thought of was, because on social media, the harbinger of fighting with people you've never met before and arguing with total strangers. One thing that I thought was, why not bring some kids together and say, hey, you guys, what would be fun for you on Friday and Saturday nights? What would you want to do? What would you think would be fun? What would you show up to? Because, there's a group of kids that no matter what, they're going to do their thing and they're going to find a way to do it. And then there's another group like the Noble Path kids, this, that are really invested and interested, and they learn all kinds of things. They learn art. They work with artwork. They do animal husbandry. They learn how to save money. They learn how to deal with emotions and conflict. They learn a myriad of different things, and they don't have to participate in everything. But even maybe when Noble Path comes to present to our committee, ask them if they have any ideas and what types of things.
Is that city sponsored?
Noble Path is not city
I
sponsored.
know it's a nonprofit.
It's a
I went
nonprofit.
online and looked at it, and so the families that take advantage of it, are they paying for any services, or is
No.
it?
It's all nonprofit. It's a 501c3 nonprofit.
Uh-huh.
And actually, a former chair of the Human Affairs Committee started it because she wanted to do more for the community. And I will tell you, having been there, and Tyler's very involved, having been there and been around the kids, it really is remarkable how many different audiences they reach. So it can be, the person that loves to write songs and play guitar. It can be the surfer guy who's an athlete, and he spends every penny he ever gets in his pocket. And he said, yeah, I learned how to save $20. At one of the graduations, they went around and they asked the kids, the young adults, what their takeaway was. And one of the young men said, well, I learned how to deal with my frustration and how when I feel alone or when I'm in trouble that I need to reach out.
Yeah, I got the feeling.
And my eyes just welled up with tears because I thought, oh my goodness. But what if we co-opted with them and asked them if they could help maybe? Aaron?
Maybe a future project for the new group. Great idea. I'm a veteran, and I did 17 years in Japan. And in Japan, all the dependents, the kids, we have what you just described. And this is what we would have. We have movie night, popcorn night, play checkers, cards. They would have a cooking class. They do all these little crafts and stuff. They get creative. They try to do things for the kids, and they had pool tables in there. We could shoot pool, ping pong table, all that. But if you got companies or somebody to invest or whatever you call it,
It's
to
a really
invest in this
clever
project,
idea.
you can
I
get
love
that going. But those are the kind of things they do. Kind of life skills, learning how to play games, play cards, popcorn, and they have punch and Slurpees
I
and
love that idea.
water and all this other stuff,
And a place just to sit and visit.
Right, and it was just couches and lounges, so
Yes.
when they have a movie, everybody's sitting there watching a movie, popcorns, even a young sailor. I was 18. I was 18 when I first went there.
Yeah.
When I would get off, because I couldn't drink, I would go there to the youth center, and we would be there watching popcorn. It was home away from home.
I do have a question. One of the things that we managed to do on the youth task force was to get scholarships through the city for kids who couldn't afford to pay for the club ball and things like that. I think at the time it was like $150. And that was a long time ago, just to, I don't know whether that provided a uniform or what. But it was actually listed on the city magazine that scholarships were available. And if that's still possible, a lot has happened since the horrible recession we had. So if that's still possible, I know you have organizations in town that would
Yes.
donate for
Peer
those
Pride,
scholarships.
San Clemente Men's Golf Club. I'm the director of that. We do that.
So
Yes.
I have a question. What were the funds
Parks and
used
Rec.
for?
They were, the money was donated to the city, and on the city in the magazine, it actually said you could donate to these scholarships, but I think
And then what were the scholarships then used for once the funds?
any city
How
Parks
that
and Rec.
works is through the Parks and Rec program. There's an application that is filled out. There's some restrictions to it, the amount of times or how many kids in a family. And there's all kinds of different parameters, but that's through our Parks and Rec.
And
Okay,
it's
so it
still
exists.
It exists.
Okay.
Friends of, like the carnival that we do, that goes
Oh,
towards
yeah.
scholarships. A lot of different things, but that's a big pool that was. Friends
What a neat
St.
thing, and that's Parks and Rec. You know what I'm interested in discussing too is perhaps how Human Affairs can work cross-functionally with Parks and Rec
Yeah.
in the coming year. There might be a project we want to work with them on. I don't know, but if things happen at Parks, maybe Human Affairs can be involved with that. I don't know, but
Well, and I think it's so great that you both came to share those ideas, and in my sadness and not renewing or reapplying for my term, maybe we could have like a community member liaison working with each subgroup, because I think you would be great. You mentioned, what did you call it, a teen group?
Teen Center?
Teen
Teen
Center.
Center.
No, but you said there used to be a youth
We had
advocate.
a youth
Collaborative.
task force.
So something maybe we want like a subcommittee that focuses on the seniors, and then maybe one that focuses on the youth, and then you would be a great community liaison that's not like a sworn in, but you get to help. So it's just not a voting member, but you get to help put time in to contribute to these.
Does that give that
Also
youth
advocating
volunteering
for
hours
myself
too?
that I
You know how
wouldn't
they
do
have
that.
volunteering hours? You
I
know,
know.
the hours of community
Oh,
service.
yeah.
So if you're interested, I was actually going to bring that up because community members and you, Michelle,
Yeah, I'm
Can-
just trying to get myself back in, It's just sad.
you can be involved in any projects you're passionate about
Totally.
as a community member
Exactly.
because we don't have Brown Act to worry about.
Yeah, we just can't be voting, but
Right.
we can be involved as community members. Because I
So-
do think, just last thing, I do think when we started, 2 years ago and a year ago making our work plan, we had these grand ambitions, I'm sure everybody comes in on, and you can see from our work plan, there were so many things. And then when it comes down to it, it's hard to accomplish everything when you meet every other month, and then our April meeting was canceled, so it's we haven't met since February. So I think if we narrow down our focus, to a few things we can accomplish, this amazing community fair was so great. And then now, the Homeward Bound, the Noble Path Foundation, that's just, I guess, my 2 cents in leaving, that maybe we narrow down our goals to more achievable for the year, and then get involvement from people like this.
I don't think we should ever cancel a meeting. You should reschedule it.
Yeah.
'Cause we only meet every 2 months.
Right.
That's just, that was frustrating for me.
Didn't we want to meet
I
every
thought we were
month?
gonna
I thought
reschedule.
at least five.
Well, we're not.
We met every
We're
month.
not-
I
we're not-
think it's the city's
Sorry.
staffing issues. Is that it? It's too hard to
Hang,
get.
hang on, Michelle.
Oh.
I was going to speak to that in the next section. So can we just wrap this up and then we'll touch on that because I already researched this. So I'm glad we're all like-minded. So, ladies, if you're interested in participating, if you'd like to join us when we finalize our work plan and see if there's something that you have a particular passion for and you'd like to help, we would welcome you. Because I think you're a wealth of knowledge and you're obviously 2 lovely community members and it would be delightful to have you.
I think you've got it though. I think you've covered everything that we probably know about.
You're good listeners.
Well, we want to absorb from smart people. I always say that. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room, just surround yourself with smart, capable people.
Before we do any kind of adjournment, we need to get a motion on this so that you can sign it
Okay.
and get it out.
So what I would like to do before we continue is because this goes back to the letter to the Noble Path, I want to pass this around, make sure you all approve it.
Is
And
it the same one that you
Everybody
put
has a
everybody-
Oh yeah, it's the one you have in your packet, sorry. So may I have a motion to approve the letter to the Noble Path?
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
I didn't know if you were gonna have a substitute because you were talking about sending it to everyone. And even though he was the one that said he didn't want it, I didn't know if you were gonna vote to send it To all of them.
I would prefer to send it to everyone,
I mean, you can
although,
vote on it, but
can I do a substitute motion to send this letter to all the participants? I'd like to make a substitute motion to send this letter to all the participants in the Community Resource Fair for 2022.
Before we vote on that,
Okay.
should we have just a show of hands who wants to do it every year? Because I was against doing it every year.
Well, we were going to
We need to
impanel,
wait till we
That's-
we
get.
were going to
That's another
impanel the
topic.
next committee.
Doesn't that letter say in there, we want you to be involved in our resource next year?
Said once we have it doing.
So why don't we edit that one sentence, thanks Stuart, on paragraph 3. We're striving to build upon this year's event in 2024. Once we have a date to share, why don't we
we can
just
say
strike?
striving for future events.
Yeah.
Yeah, why, we'll notify you something a little bit more general. We'll notify you as future events are planned or as future
Don't do it
events are
over here.
calendared.
Mhm.
How about that?
Right.
Okay, so let's vote on it again with that caveat, so thank you for
I
that.
move that we send that revised letter.
Thank you very much,
Second.
excellent. So we're gonna send the revised letter, thank you for the catch, Stuart, and we will agendize this for our next meeting after our new committee is impaneled and active, and we'll have a robust discussion and we'll go from there.
Great.
Clarification, you're just gonna send it to NoblePath, none of the other.
No, we would like,
She's getting ready to do a second. I mean, you said you're gonna.
substitute, I wanted to do a substitute motion
Gotcha.
to send the revised letter to all of the
You want
participants
to correct
at
the wording.
this year's Community Resource Fair with that amended sentence. Do I have a
I
second?
second that.
Thank you, Rosemary.
I think they're gonna suggest.
Substitute motion by Edone, second by Salas.
Vote on
Aye.
it, please.
Let's vote on it.
Aye.
I,
Oh, hey, I
Aye.
think it's gonna be unanimous.
Unanimous,
All right.
unanimous.
There you go.
By unanimous vote,
Because the wording got corrected.
we are sending it with corrected wording. Thank you, Stuart. Excellent. So under communications from committee members and staff, I have a letter brought by Stuart that I'd like to, is it in our packet? I didn't look at it.
No, I brought.
You brought it? Okay.
And I-
I'd like to circle this around, have everybody take a look at it.
Everybody has one.
Oh, good. Please take a look at this, Partners for Wellness,
Okay.
ban of flavored tobacco products.
So this was one of our presenters at the Community Resource Fair. And she approached me and said, will I support her in this? And I said, yes, I will support you, and I will bring it to the Human Affairs Committee. Now, there is a law which already outlaws flavored tobaccos. However, the person that Partners for Wellness believe that it's kind of being, law enforcement's turning a blind eye to some of these products still being sold. And I don't know whether that's a problem in San Clemente or not. And I was just wondering if maybe as a committee we wanted to do a little bit of research and see if we wanted to do anything further in this.
I know these things are horrible. They're so much more addicting than cigarettes.
Well, it targets kids.
Yeah. And it targets kids.
And
Well, they have bubblegum flavor, they have
But it's,
unicorn flavor,
vape
It's
or-
donuts.
They passed
It's
a law
what?
against
It's
it.
Yeah, there's a law.
It's based or
Let's get out of Roy Lane here. There's a law.
Any like cigarettes,
Enforce the law.
vape, chewing tobacco, all that stuff.
all mixed
Geez, I'm
cigarettes,
all for banning all of
flavored
it, but you know,
tobacco.
There's a
Yeah.
lot more to do with that.
and
Right.
I always want to ban it all.
Yeah. Yeah, the e-cigarettes are so much.
So
more
who,
Public safety,
who does
right?
this go to? Or
Yeah.
share with us what this would be used for.
the letter, it was just given to me to ask me if I'd sign it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I will bring this up from the Human Affairs Committee to see if we want to do some research to see if this really is a problem in our city. And if it is, then we should approach City Council and say, how do we address this?
Staff question for
I
you.
like it.
Staff, since there's a law, is this more in the lane of public safety? To enforce that, since there's a law for this?
I don't know to answer that question, but
Is there a law? I thought it was
Yes.
There is a
saying.
law.
Yes, there's a
Yeah.
law.
There is a
We
law.
just gotta enforce it, public
There's no
safety.
enforcement.
Oh, a
I'm
law
not
in
sure that it's being-
California?
I'm not in California. I'm not sure that it's being.
Do we have an ordinance? Is there an ordinance that supports the law?
So what
that can
I
enforce
hear
it?
is that some of the vendors have, on the counter, they have these products. And somebody comes in and asks for it, they will then sell it to them. So that's what I've heard.
Wow.
True enough.
No, it's true. When we were hanging out those,
Doing, like,
when we were hanging up those
sting
posters for the Human Resource Center, there was one shop I was at because I don't do the vape, but I happened to see it,
Yeah.
you know, there, you know, and it may have been, yeah, it wasn't when I was campaigning, yeah, it was during that time, and I know that shop has it,
Yeah.
and it's on Delmar Street.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Why aren't the police just doing
They
the
don't have
sting
it out
and
in
just
the
going
open,
in
right?
and then,
There's a
you
lot
know,
of
like,
Good question, so I'm not the
It's
answer.
like, you know,
so we're
they
just
don't
doing
enforce
this
it.
easy ticket to write.
On Palo
Right,
Alto,
like,
it's the same thing.
Stop
Seems like
giving
a
me
smart
rolling
thing to take to
stop
public
sign.
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think?
I
But what
guess
if
the big
we
thing
sign
comes
as
down
a support?
to enforcement. I mean, like everything we have here, e-bikes, everything. There's.
Right.
It's
But
an
what if we
enforcement issue.
sign?
Enforcement is always the problem.
Right.
That's
It's
key.
the enforcement issue.
But what if the human affairs
From the
committee
mouth
signs
of
this
wisdom.
as a
Right.
we're encouraging our powers that be to enforce it, and then we reach out to public safety? Would you guys also sign encouraging our powers that be to enforce it? And then we bring it to city council, and then they bring it to Barnes
on.
and say, let's crack down on this. I mean, my daughter had a 5th grader vaping in her class, in physically in the class at Concordia. Yeah, I mean, it is a problem. So anything we can do, whether it's
so
a problem here or not, it is
So
a problem.
So addicting for these kids.
But is that completely outside of our scope? I don't know.
I don't think
Yeah,
it
I
matters.
think it
I think
is.
we have a title and we can say, this is the stand we take, if we take that stand.
Well, aren't we tasked with improving the conditions
There you go.
for our residents in our community?
And
And our youth.
And our youth is
And our
certainly
youth.
part of our
Yeah.
community, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'd like to make a motion that we reword this letter to come from the Human Affairs Committee to bring it to City Council as a recommendation. And once we have the reworded letter, I'll contact Public Safety and see whether or not we could get their agreement to also sign on, and then present it to City Council to really crack down on this law and prohibit the sale of these products in the city of San
We
Clemente.
have to go to the sheriff's department eventually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's.
But if we
good to do
surface it to City Council, and then they can,
Oh, yeah.
city manager can meet with sheriff, with Captain Christian and present it. But if we have the strength of both committees behind it, perhaps it will.
It's the
bring
same
more
as selling
input to it.
alcohol to minors. I mean, the police would be all over that if a store was alleged.
Or
to be
cigarettes to
selling
minors,
alcohol
for that
to
matter,
minors.
right?
I don't know. So thank you. Thank you for bringing this. to
Okay,
light.
so that's my
We should
motion.
follow up on that.
Do I have a second? Let's vote on it. Stuart?
When I brought it up, first I wanted to make sure we had a problem before we made an issue of it. And
Yeah.
and do we know we have a problem?
See, I don't know. I
I
don't
mean,
know if we have a problem.
should we do a little bit of research before we go forward? I mean, I love the fact.
That's
that we
fair.
applied to
Yes.
it.
I think whether it's, I mean, I don't even know what research we would do to find out. I just think why not take a stand against it to say.
Well, we
San
could be
Clemente
taking a
isn't
stand
for this.
against something that doesn't exist, to
That's
Stuart's
right.
point.
Here.
Well, no, because Aaron said he saw it happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw that. I'm one. Yeah, I get that.
Was
And
it-
then
was
a
it
girl in
flavored
5th grade
tobacco
was
products,
doing.
or was it just
All I know is it's vape. So
Vape.
it's
Because
vape. I don't know what
in
they
itself
call it.
is not
Yeah.
illegal, but flavored vape is illegal.
Yeah.
Well, menthol
I
too.
know. I didn't talk about it. I didn't see no smoke.
Oh, see, okay,
Yeah.
see, I didn't know. So vaping is not illegal?
That's right. It
There's
is.
I just want to say,
Age
is it
cutoff.
But for ages?
part of the work
For
plan, I
flavor,
think
because
council's gonna refer, this is what
Yeah.
they approved you guys to work on, and if
Well,
it's
it
not
would be part of the
there,
work plan moving
next year.
forward.
For next
So
year?
that should probably be a discussion with your new.
Discuss it with our next group.
I
Let's
say
table that
table that to
and let's
the
bring
next
it back.
one.
Will you please put it, agendize it to revisit it in our next meeting? And
You
then
want to withdraw your motion?
I withdraw my motion. Thank you for
Sorry,
that.
Stuart, maybe when you're out, everyone's out, kind of notice, see, walk into these smoke shops, right?
I'm sure I can go in there and say, hey, can I get a flavor vape?
I'll do it.
See,
I'd love to
In
be a
disguise. Let's throw my beanie on.
Can you put your
phone?
Can you put your phone in your pocket and record? It'll be like 60 Minutes in the old days. Hey, we want to talk to you. So let's do that. thank you for that. We'll agendize it at our next meeting. And to that end, under communications from committee members and staff, I have a little communication. So I would like to call a meeting, a special meeting in the month of July, after our new committee is sworn in, get started on our work plan, elect our chair and co-chair, and move forward with that. And then a second item is I would like to see whether you support, and we'll ask this at the July meeting, the special meeting, whether you support meeting on a monthly basis. Tyler and I have already discussed it. It's not a Brown Act violation. And we're all together now, so we're able to discuss it. Would you be in favor of meeting monthly without me calling, 6 special meetings, but just we meet monthly?
Yeah, I think that's what we ended up doing, right?
That's
Calling
perfect.
special
Too
meetings because we
disconnected
wanted to
from
do
everything
that.
else.
We were told it was too hard with IT or something like that, remember?
I do
So we
remember.
just did special meetings.
Right.
But I think that's
So
great.
why don't we take a vote on that with our assembled group, and then
Oh.
we'll, I just want to take, this isn't a binding,
A
because
straw poll.
I want to do is, thank you. Take the words out of my mouth and make me smarter. We're going to do a straw poll right now to see how you feel about it, and then we'll bring it forth at the July special meeting in a moment. Let's look at the dates. Okay, so Stuart, would you be in favor of meeting every month?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, I do too. Aaron, would you?
Awesome idea.
Excellent. Rosemary? Good. Michelle? Okay, thank you all.
I love it.
So there's our straw man. We're unanimous. So let's, could we please look at July dates? Because we do have 4th of July week, and a lot of people are, take vacations and make that, wrap a leg around that and so forth.
We'll find a room.
Does it matter that the new people, when they applied, were under the impression that it's every other month?
It could be a factor, and council will have to agree to
Oh, they have to.
agree to changing from.
Well, I was told that at the next council meeting on the 18th, to show up and ask for it because they have to change a code. I already spoke to Laura. So I found out that they have to change the code that says that Human Affairs has monthly meetings now. So I'll do that at the next city council meeting. I wanted to get a feel for what everybody thought because the next city council meeting is likely before our new group is going to meet. So if you all support it, I'm going to go with they'll support it as well. And if people can't attend, then we'll meet with who wants to show up and we'll have a quorum and we can work on what we're able to work on. I mean, really, right? We could probably do that anyway. Because it's you, Rosemary, and I, we're 3. We just need one more for a quorum.
And Tyler.
And
he's
Tyler
up for
said
that,
yes.
Right?
So there's our
And
quorum.
then it's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what were you gonna say?
Is Thor on?
No, I was just trying to figure out which meeting you were going to, if it's the one next week.
Yes.
Okay, so Dick.
So our special meeting, Tyler, when are you being sworn in? Tyler?
I'm sorry, what?
When are you being sworn in and doing your Brown Act training that you've already done 95 times?
I'm not sure. I haven't.
You haven't received the communication.
I've
Okay.
received a communication, but I haven't seen a date for.
That's what, see, do you know the date that they're going to be sworn in?
I think it's depending on,
Schedules.
schedules and groups,
Yeah.
because there's different committees and commissions.
Thor and.
Okay,
yeah.
why don't we look at,
So we have to go to that.
could we call a special meeting on Tuesday, July 25th?
Said something.
When? July what?
July 25th, Tuesday, July 25th. Are you available, Rosemary? Tyler, are you available? Are you available, Stuart?
I'm available at 3:30, yes.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and schedule a special meeting for Tuesday, July 25th at 3:30? And I can't communicate with the new members. Or am I allowed to because they're not sworn in yet? So it's not,
I would leave that alone.
yeah. Can you reach out to see whether they would be available? I don't know. Janet?
Well, technically, they're not members yet until they're sworn in.
Right.
Oh.
Speaking unofficially right now.
Yeah, you're fine. She's talking about the other.
Okay. So let's call it. And those of us that can attend will attend. And for those that are unavailable, they won't attend. So we'll do the special meeting on July 25th. And we'll get started on our work plan. Fair enough? And then once we have a full meeting, we can vote in our new chair and co-chair. Thank you for coming. Good to see you, Tyler.
Good luck changing it back,
You did a great job
because
last
it
Friday.
had to be
Oh,
changed.
thank you so
We
much.
met monthly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Yeah, we didn't understand why it was every 2
And I
months.
don't know, I don't know.
If it's about money, I would say, hey, I'll work for free on it. I don't
Yeah,
care.
So
exactly.
how
Yeah.
long ago was it?
A long time, but somewhere, if it's code, then they had to change it somewhere along the way, so maybe you can find out when they changed it, why they.
Yeah, I don't want to get paid for
same.
it. They wouldn't let me not get paid.
just do it for free.
Have you heard that story? Have you heard what I did?
I tried to give it back. They said you can't.
Yeah, I
You
know,
can't.
that's what he said.
So I didn't fill out.
So as my final
About
comment,
your date last
as
week.
chair of the 2022-2023 Human Affairs Committee, thank you all for your participation, your enthusiasm, your brains, and your dedication to this community. And I look forward to great things happening in the coming
And
year.
I just want to add, thank you for being the chair, Elena. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, you
Thank
did
you,
a great
Stuart.
job,
That's awfully
Lisa.
kind of
Thank
you. I don't plan to get COVID or COVID pneumonia this year, so it's not in my work plan. So
We hope.
yeah. So I hope that I'm able to serve again, and if I'm not re-voted in, I will fully support whoever my replacement is. So thank you all. Thank you, sir, Mr. Washington. And this
you.
meeting is adjourned.
Yay!
Wait, oh my gosh.